Hello, Assalamualaikum. My name is Robeer and I am just coming live to talk about purpose of our life with Tamara Robeer. She is from Netherlands. She is a public speaker. She is writer, and so when she joined us, then we'll talk to her and know about her journey as well. So, Tamara, if you're watching me, please join me and join my this video so I can talk to you. So recently I think somebody is joining. Okay, Tamara is here. I hope that now this time it will work. Tamara, please keep your mobile horizontal and then join me. I'm just waiting for you. The people that are joining me in, I just want to say thank you so much to join my video. Okay, Tamara is present. Oh my god, she's here. Yes, everything will go okay for now. And I remember our talk on Messenger. Oh my god,
Yes, it's working. It's amazing. It's working. It's such a blessing to be here.
Yeah, so happy to talk to you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Absolutely. I'm trying to turn off all these notifications so that I can actually just talk to all of you guys instead of being distracted by the notifications on the side of. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
here we go. Hi.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm
I'm
doing
so happy
great.
for that.
I'm in my favorite office, which is called Nature. So
Okay.
yeah, I prefer to walk outside. Or to work outside. It's way more soothing for the soul to work outside and instead of a desk. So I'm now
So
at a skate ramp. There are a couple of kids behind me. Like it's a deserted skate ramp here.
okay.
So
So
how are
you're
you doing
enjoying?
today? How are
I'm
you
doing
doing?
fine.
Perfect.
I'm doing fine, but a little bit slow.
Yeah. What did you say the last time?
Tamara,
Yeah.
I am just putting hands free so I can hear you well.
Yes.
I am
That's
just
okay.
putting hands free.
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. So you are with the nature. Okay. So you are with the nature.
Yes, I'm this nature type of guy,
Okay.
nature type of woman. I wanted to say nature type of guy, but that's not really applicable to my situation.
Okay, that's amazing. So I have some questions, Tamara. So our topic is today finding out our life purpose. We'll talk about it, but firstly, I want to know about yourself. Like, kindly please introduce yourself to my audience.
Yes, I will. I will take you on a little journey called my life. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so just to start with some practicalities and semantics, is like, oh, my name is Tamara Robeer. I live in the Netherlands and in Amsterdam, the Netherlands, Europe. At the moment, I work as a speaker, writer, photographer, artist, mentor, creative, and business coach. And basically, I just design my life by choice. I do what it is that I like to do and what comes to me. And that has many different forms, just as you know. Sometimes I end up in a little bit of let's call it an identity crisis myself too, because there's so many fun things to do in life that it would just be a shame to label and box them all. So I'll take you on a little journey about how I got to this place. Is that when I was a young girl, I think around 6 years old, I truly believed everything was possible, like in the most ecstatic visions and imaginations that I had. And for me, that was reality. I absolutely enjoyed life. I was pretty smart. And by the time I was 7 years old, I was the one always eagerly awaiting in class, putting my hand up, like, yes, I know the answer, I know the answer. So there was one well meaning teacher who decided at that moment to ask me to please be a bit more silent because all the other kids felt quite awkward. And so I learned at that moment that it was better to be silent and to say nothing in order to be accepted and to be part of a group of people, right? To feel this connection within the group where I was. And that continued for many, many, many years, where I, because of that belief, started attracting a lot of situations where I felt that I couldn't show up as myself at all. By the time I was 14 years old, I discovered that my father was an alcoholic and that I already knew that something wasn't right in the family because there was this all constant struggle of being seen and being accepted. And things weren't working at all. It was quite a fearful place to be at home. But when I discovered that, everything was shattered because that man was the man that I ferociously defended as. I literally said that he was able to fight with lions. I really believed in his strength and in his core and in his soul. And unfortunately, he didn't believe that himself and got stuck in the circle of addiction and alcoholism. So by the time I was 25, I ended up having the in total 7 years of really, really, really deep depressions, where the greatest thing I did on a day was get out of my bed and had the kids behind me having so much fun. Hi guys. So the greatest thing that I did was just get out of bed, be awake for an hour, and then fall asleep again. There was absolutely no fun, no pleasure, no joy. I sometimes I don't even know how I managed to actually get to university or to go and have a degree. And underneath all of that, there was also a sense of like this can't be right. If life is supposed to be like this, that isn't fun because I'm struggling from one moment to another moment. There's this constant pressure of achieving something, constant pressure to be loved and to be part of something. And because of all these experiences, I believed and I thought that I needed to really work really hard and grind through it and get all kinds of certifications to just prove worthiness, to just prove that, hey, this is who I am, and please include me into the fun which is called life. And at one moment, I think I was studying in Madrid, and I studied business at that moment. I was around 23 years old, 24, I think at that time. I was done with it. So like I'll give up. I don't understand this life. I don't find it even remotely funny or fun. So I just give up. But instead of giving up, there was this intuitive feeling, oh wait, there are other options. And this greatest fear, right, of being alone and not accepted and not loved, not enough, it already came reality. I was there alone. Nobody was there. I had no place to go. I was studying something that I like, but not actually don't really enjoy it. I just did it for approval of others. And I thought it would be cool to study in a foreign country. Well, I was there and I was not enjoying it. So from there on, I started learning what it means to be happy. What does it mean to smile? What does it mean to say hi to somebody else? What does it mean to make a connection? I had nothing to lose anymore, right? Alone is alone. So it became a play in one sense of another to just see what happens if I say this. Do I get the direct result on the other side or not? So from there on, I managed to create. I wouldn't call it achievements. I managed to create the things that are valuable for me, that make my life joyful, and that make me want to get out of bed, and not somebody else on the other side. So instead of being on this role of achievement, right, knocking one achievement off after another in order to create or to get the love and excitement that I wanted, I started from the point like, hey, right, I have all of this. There's nothing to lose, and let's see what it is that I can create, which I like, and learn the tools and the tricks that I need in order to do that. Like it's always quiet here at the playground whole day. Now I'm here hanging in with you, and everybody comes to
Today is a
join.
great day because of your energy.
Yes,
They came.
yeah. I guess it's like there are about, let's see, I think 15 kids around, all looking at me like, what is she doing here? So hi guys, do you want to be on camera? Yes, come, all of you, come. You can see it. I'm talking to a lovely lady from Pakistan. Come. Do you want to be with me? Come, come and there are about a couple of hundred people all over the world watching this. So, come on. If you look, I'm in this screen, so you
Hey,
can all join
hey,
me.
little kid.
Can you see?
Hey, how are you?
Like, she's asking how you are. Oh, cool. Are you all cool? Fine. Yes, amazing. Thank you. So, Oh, you have a YouTube channel. That is fine. Cool. So, guys, if I play Fortnite,
I really love your guys.
not not at the moment, but I do know Fortnite. It's an amazing game. So let me finish the conversation with this
So
amazing
while
woman, right? I'm going to
Tamara
sit
is
there.
doing conversation with these kids, I just want to say to you
Right?
that like that
Are you coming back to Laura?
that
Bye, kids.
please uh,
Yes, I'm back with you again. So we're at this. Don't worry.
oh, it's okay. While you were talking to them, I just want to say at the moment, like I was just watching the comments, and somebody asked that what is the topic today, and I just want to say that our topic is like finding our life purpose. So we are talking on it. If you have any question, you can ask our mentor, our public speaker, our very beautiful and soulful girl, lady, Tamara. And I really love whenever I talk to her, I just feel like another joy. So I really, might be I fall in love with you, a girl.
Oh,
So
we
Tamara,
fall in
so
love with
when, hmm,
so many people in life. There's so many beautiful people. There's so many people
yeah.
to fall in love with. Like it's not an exclusive thing. It just goes up for everything and everyone. That is at least what I discovered and what my experience is of the world. So this was the introduction
Okay,
about
I
who I
want to
am.
say, okay, okay. So you become diamond because you have some certain kind of difficulties in your life, and you face it, and then you explore it and explore it and explore it, and now, wow.
Yes,
So
I
my
call it
like I have questions. Mm-hmm.
yes. I call it the gift of contrast because often we always think like, oh, there's so many circumstances in my life, there's so much around me that is not enabling me to be happy. But through the gift of contrast, right, through all the things that I experienced, I actually got to see the other side of it. I got to see what the both sides of the coin that are actually possible. So for me, instead of now, because we cannot control life, there will always be something. There will always be something which will tell us, like, okay, I can't. Somebody who says, who's on the naysayer side, says, no, you shouldn't be doing this, or something happening in your family or something happening at your work and so there's or in your country or in your society. There will always be something. We cannot control the outside, but we can control the inside. So by allowing those experiences to be there, I started seeing the gift of the contrast, right? Then the outside things are happening that are not to my likings, so I have the choice inside of myself to choose a different reality and to move beyond what is happening. So actually all these not cool things and like the hardship that has happened in my life and all the problems that I ran into, and they were endless, absolutely endless at that time. They all were a gift of contrast, showing me and giving me an opportunity to grow into where I am today. So I'm really, really grateful for those moments. Instead of that, I try to hide them because they became a tool for growth.
Hmm. That's beautiful choice that you have done. Okay, so my second question is like I have some question on my messenger, so I am just reading from
Yes.
there. Like my second question is, what does life purpose mean to you? Like,
Yes, for me, what I discovered, what was very, very useful, is when I thought about my life purpose, things became really heavy. It was like I wanted to get out of this place because there's so much weight on it, right? Everybody is just searching for this life purpose. It's like a continuous journey to something in the future. And it was almost like I couldn't reach that. I, I couldn't get there. So it became so heavy that, and I felt so insufficient and so unworthy that this whole sense of having a purpose, right? That it's a really big and huge thing that is like hanging above and around us, and we just don't seem to grasp it. That really didn't work for me. So I started exploring what would be useful, right? Instead of thinking what would life purpose mean according to society standards, I started wondering what life purpose means to me. And what it meant for me was, or what I discovered, is that at the moment that I followed uh, what intuitively came to me, the intuition and the voices, and like Bashir says, the path of the highest excitement. And there are more people who are teaching that philosophy to follow your highest excitement, the ideas that come into your mind and your heart that spark you with joy, pleasure, and enthusiasm and curiosity, and explore that, that through doing that, right, I was able through that joy to express myself as I am, to express what I would call the voice of my soul into this world. And when I started doing that and letting go of that purpose is something in the future which I need to work really hard for in order to get there, and that is something that I need to prove to be worthy of, I started sharing who I was right now and allowing who I am right now. And by that, my life started to have purpose, and it started to show up as purpose, because now my job was to share that with the world. My job and the purpose of my existence on this planet became to share that joyful excitement with everybody else, and to share what works for me and what inspires me with others in order to give them an opportunity to experience the same thing. Because I don't know what works for you, I don't know what works for somebody else, but I know what works for me. And what I do discover, and what my truth is that when we follow our highest excitements, when you follow what it is that you truly want to do, and like what you're good at, right? What you're most excited about is also what you're good at. And you're allowed to create. We're all allowed to create what we want. Therefore, our desires, right? Highest excitement translates into our mind and body as a desire, as a really nice thing to do. And that is not always, or most often not, to feed a million people. Um, because that again, that idea is so big that we get overwhelmed and
Mm.
we don't do anything. But when I started allowing myself to have a life full of enthusiasm, a life full of joy, to, right? When I allow myself to have nature as my office, for example, if I allow myself to dance whenever I wanted, and allow myself to study the subjects and the topics that I like, right? Study dance, study making videos, study public speaking again, because right, my voice was so blocked that I was afraid to say anything. So I started making videos on Facebook about 2 years ago. If I look back at it, the first one was rather clumsy, but it wasn't about that. It was about the act of expression. And through that, right, through training, practice and repetition, intensity, practice, repetition, practice, intensity, repetition, go and do it again and do it again and do it again, we get good at something. And that is um, how we develop skills. So then there is passion, right? Purpose and excitement, which automatically become purpose, combined with skills. And so we just move on. And I dream in my mind about where I want to be in the world, which people I want to meet, which conventions I want to be, right? What do I need to create, or what is it that I can add or let go of in order to, for example, come back to Pakistan, because for all of you who are watching and don't know me, I've been to Pakistan twice, right? What can I create in order to do that? And what is the most beautiful thing to do that through the things that I love doing? Because that is where we're automatically is our zone of genius.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what I understand is that, like, instead of going for big purposes, we just be in the moment and follow our heart and enthusiasm and excitement.
Yes.
I am just repeating it because I really like this point. Like, why we are making our lives like so heavy? Because thinking about we have some certain type of big purposes. So thank you so much, Amara, sharing this point. So my
I do have a really big purpose, by the way, right? Like I have a tagline that's called "Experience Life Through Passion," and I absolutely have the intention to inspire millions of people on the planet to be this joyful and to add to the educational system. But if I think about it every single day, I get a slightly tired, slightly scared, because it's so big that I think like, okay, what is this one
yeah,
woman show is gonna do, right? So instead of that, I like that
the same
idea
is
very
with me. Like I
very close.
also.
Yeah,
Hmm.
go ahead.
So the thing is that I always, Tamara, I always thinking about that. I have to do that. I have to do that. I have to do that. So sometime, like I miss the moment. I was
Yeah.
uh, because when I repeat, like when I was 1 month ago, I guess, I feel so bad. I feel so depressed, and I feel scared. Oh my God, what I have written on my diary? How can I do that? Because when I thought that I will do that, it will be easy for me to take a step. But at the moment when I was depressed and feeling not good, I feel scared. I feel I can't do that.
Yes. And that is
So,
that. Yeah, we often forget is that like people who look really happy and excited and have, according to the opinion of who's watching, right, the idea, have everything taken care of. Like that is not true, right? I get scared too. Like I get up in the morning too and I think like, okay, I have this desire, right? This enthusiasm, this idea hang out. What am I gonna do? And then again, what happens, right? If I let myself be tricked by the idea that I am dependent on that idea, right? That I'm only worthy if I manage to, or proven worthy for love and connection, and to have this fun and radiance on this planet. Only if I achieve that, like then I go straight back into bed. Like I ain't going nowhere when I think that, because it's just too much. It's too heavy. I can't do it. Yet when I allow myself to just know like, oh, like I'm okay right here right now, like in this moment everything is fine, and then just simply ask myself what is the best next step I can take. I often don't, I have the visions in my mind and I know very clearly where I want to go to, and I have a very clear direction which I set for myself because that is what I just love to create. It would totally excite me if that would be happening. And then I just keep that, but I don't define how it's going to get there. And I trust that I just, when I ask the questions, like, what is it that I'm going to do next? The highest, the most excited thing I can do in this moment. And sometimes that means sleeping because that is rest. Sometimes that means eating. Sometimes that means showing up for interviews with you. Sometimes it means creating a website. Sometimes it means making offers and sales. Sometimes that means learning another skill. Sometimes it just means talking to people. It can be anything. And I started trusting that. And by doing that, one small step at a time, it started coming. And then it didn't matter anymore where I am, right? My surroundings isn't important anymore. Not to the extent that I think like what I want to create cannot be done from here, right? What I want to create can only be done when I'm somewhere else or when I hang out with other people. Your environment and people are important for the speed in which you can do this, yet it's not a requirement to start. You can start from any given place and from any level of education and from anything, because what your purpose is not defined on the purpose of somebody else. It doesn't have to be really big. Like we have really big dreams, but I can imagine that there are, for example, women on the world who have this beautiful, gorgeous purpose to raise 4 kids, right? And to pour their heart and soul in it and to put some food at the table every single day and to make sure that the kids get the most love and the greatest care that they ever have. I find that an absolute brilliant desire and purpose. And other people want to set up companies and somebody else wants to become an artist. It's totally irrelevant what it is as long as you enjoy it. And for some people that is bigger and for some people it's less. And I also learned that when I set a intention, when I set a you would call it goal, but it is more excitement that it is that I would like to create. And I purposely choose the word create instead of achievement, because if it's an achievement, I'm doing it for somebody else because I want to be respected or approved, right? But when I say create, I'm doing it because I just love to add that to the world. By the time that that project is by its end, right, a new project comes up and then you go to another step. So don't even, it's not necessary to start dreaming really big. You can start with just something that's about 20% out of your comfort zone at this moment, right? The little stretch, and all the little steps become in the end a really big like life project. It become it can become your legacy, but always from where you're at right now.
So there are also questions
Yes.
like I'm watching on the on the comments as well. So we
Yes.
should take it with like so our audience also not feel neglected. Okay, Bharat
Yes.
was saying that. Mm, okay, he's saying that he is not understanding English, but it's okay. Okay, Chaudhary Bilal is here and he is asking how to overcome fear of uncertainty in life. Please must ask to Ma'am Tamara. So it's a
Mm.
question.
Like it depends on
Overcome
what
fear of uncertainty.
yeah, the fear of uncertainty. It's a really, really, really good question. Um, let me see what wants to be said. Like as human beings, we have as well the desire, and it's just an inherent human quality. We have the desire for as well certainty and uncertainty in our lives. So certainty means that we're safe, that we have a base to trust on, and that that is different for everybody. For somebody that is family, for other people that is a relationship, for other people it's time of freedom in location stuff. What makes you feel certain and safe is different for everybody. And then on the other hand, there's also this desire for uncertainty, which is often a call for adventure, right? Not knowing where you're gonna go to and have this adventurous spirit. And the art is to have those two in balance, right? So we'll have the certainty as the uncertainty, because at the moment there is no sense of safety. And what safety is for somebody else, I cannot define that. I
Mm.
know what safety is for me. For me, safety is knowing that I have people around which I can always fall back to, right? When I have a messy day and I feel depressed, that I can always call them and that they will always be there to not be with me in the drama, but to just listen to me and say, hey, right, you can do this. Safety for me also means being able to crawl up in a fluffy blanket at the corner of my bed with a nice cup of tea when I feel like it. So they're really, uh, or watching a really nice movie, right? To just get back to myself and allow myself the nourishment, or to meet up with friends and be with them, and or photograph, that they're all a sense of safety for me. And then the uncertainty, right, is in projects as this where I speak up and learn something new. And uncertainty is simply part of the process. And our human brain is programmed in such a way that to keep us safe, right? That is what we call fight, flight, freeze response. So every single time we go do something that is new for us, something that we have not yet experienced, our mind and body say, hey, wait a minute, this is new. I don't know this. So my job now is to keep you safe. So I'm going to do everything in my power to stay with what is familiar. And that creates this sense of uncertainty. And to
Mm.
learn to be with that and to understand that it is a response for your body really, really, really supported me and the people that I work with in order to find a balance between uncertainty and certainty. And uncertainty, if somebody means that uncertainty is, for example, a lack of finances or a lack of education, I would suggest is that you don't need finances and education in the beginning, but just to simply close your eyes and breathe where you're at right now, and to allow yourself to just love yourself for where you're at. Because every single one of us, we had a journey. And remember, at the moment that you feel uncertain and you feel unsafe about where you're at and have the idea that you cannot go anywhere, look back at your life and put in the practice of active appreciation of everything that you have already done. Because as soon as we do that, we discover how much we have already created and how much we already have like achieved in life, like how much we already took care of our family, how much income we already generated until now. It might not be where you wish to move towards, but from that moment of active appreciation, we suddenly go like, whoa, I already done this. This is so nice, and we drop back into the safe of space, in the space of
Love.
safety, and allow it. And from there on, we can have the courage again inside of ourselves to take another little step, and to just like have uncertainty with us and go and think like and giggle a bit and think, okay, I'm just going to do this one little thing and just see what happens. And we can do that every single time. I do that a lot, and every single day I make it a practice to actively appreciate what I already have. Right when uncertainty, unsafety, and fear kicks in, it's a very human practice, and I think like I would assume it's an assumption, but I'm quite sure in the assumption that every human being on this planet experiences fear and uncertainty and unsafety at the moment we start going to something new. And know that you're not the only one, right? Shari Bilal, know that you are not the only one, that everybody is experiencing this. And it doesn't matter how big your dreams are, because every time you do something new, even if you're already a millionaire, the same mechanism kicks in because we're all human.
Hmm. So the beautiful answer. So what you have, you should actively appreciate what you have. So my third
Yes,
question is like, and I will ask the questions that I have, and then
yes,
I'll ask the question that audience are asking from you.
yes,
So my
please,
third
by all
question
means.
is that, yeah. So my third question is that, do you know your life purpose? If yes, how you find it? Like you talk about it, like, but I want that, Tamara, you speaks very beautifully. It is for the people who are finding and conceding that they have the life purpose. So can you define it like precisely? Like if, like I am asking again, do you know
Yes.
your life purpose? And if yes, how you find it?
Um, like the purpose of my life might, or sometimes it changes a little bit at where I'm at, right? New experiences might create a new direction. Yet the one sentence and the one purpose that has always been there for me, and which I would consider a life purpose at this moment, is the phrase experience life through passion. And also the phrase play, create, celebrate. Those two are the main things where I hold on to every single day and every single moment, which move me forward and give my life purpose. And then and fuel purpose into the projects that I do. And with doing that, right, with being absolutely 100% devoted to experiencing a life through passion for myself, right? So put myself first, only then because I'm nourished and filled up so much, what automatically comes, and that is an automatic response of the universe, is that starts spilling over and starting to share with other people. So I am not worried on a daily basis if I'm contributing enough, because I know that if I experience my life in passion, that the automatic result will be contribution. That doesn't go for everybody, right? It is a choice that you need to make to fully be dedicated to contribute somewhere. Some people make the choice to just sit and be where they're at right now, and that is totally okay, right? There is no judgment on that. People can stay there. Yet for me, if you really wish to have that sense of purpose and that sense of excitement, then whatever comes to you, start putting that into action, start doing it. And then, right, when you say searching, did you say searching or finding life purpose?
I am asking like,
Was it
do you
which
know your
word?
life purpose? Like
Yeah,
I
and
didn't.
did
I
and did
just
you?
say that. Do you know? Do
Yeah,
you
and
know
what?
your life purpose? If you know, what is that? How you
Yeah,
find it? Like
yes, this was
how
how
you
you
find?
find it. You
Hmm.
said finding and searching, I think. For everybody
Hmm.
who at this moment is on the path of searching for a life purpose, I would like to use the next analogy is when I lose my keys, if I cannot find my keys in the house and I start searching for my keys, the the request I put up to the universe and to my surroundings and to life is to search
Hmm.
for my keys. So what I'm getting and what I'm creating is the search. That is not the actual finding of the keys. Right? So that means that I am busy for a very long time and the universe thinks like I'm totally happy because I put in and I'm exactly doing the request of Tamara is to search for the keys. So if I actually lose my keys, and it happens regularly, I start finding my keys, right? So the request I put in, the question that I ask, because I wish to find my keys now or within the next 5 minutes, because if you don't put a timeline on it, it might be that the finding is in the near future, and I would like to request to find them now. And the same thing goes up for a life purpose, right? If we ask and request the universe, consciousness, God, source, the creator of all that is, for searching for a life purpose, then that is what it is that we're creating. And finding a life
Mm.
purpose, and then by when? By when would you like to have found that? By when would you like to start living that purpose?
Mm.
So I prefer to ask the question is, um, to be that life purpose. What do I need to do in order to live my purpose right now, right? And then listen which exciting thing comes to you, what it is that wants to be done and wants to be said through you, right? That intuitive calling. So instead of finding and searching it, like, ask yourself, who do I need to be right now in order to be in my purpose? Or as whom do I show up in order to be my purpose? Or what can I do right now? Or what is it what's the next exciting thing right now that will fuel my purpose? Because what we then do is we keep it in the moment of now, right? Here and right now. And that means that you start living that purpose every single day, in every single moment. Because otherwise, that is my discovery, because I have been searching for about 15 years, if it's not longer, every single day. And it was exactly what I created, the search and not the find. And so at the
Mm.
moment I started to discover that being of the purpose right here and
Allah.
right now, then suddenly things started opening up. It was a whole new world and a whole new spectrum. Oh, wait a minute. Because also when being that right here, right now, and asking those questions, the pressure falls away, right? It's not something that you go for, right? Not to work hard and to grind for. And like there's this whole to-do list to do in order to be that purpose, right? In order to add
Mm.
purpose and value to the life and the moments of now where you're already at. We can always add value and purpose to exactly this moment. And when we keep on doing that
Love you,
every single
Tamara.
moment, thank you, love you too, Rabia, then the purpose is there always. And it's just for us to become then
Yeah.
curiously excited to see what is the next thing. Like, okay, let me listen, let me meditate, let me find out what is the next most exciting
Mm.
thing and the best next thing to do in this moment.
Mm.
Yes.
Okay. So that is the one of the meaningful answer. Thank you so much. We'll move to the next one. My
Yes.
next question is that how we channelize our energy to fulfill our life, like to fulfill. My question is revolving around that. To fulfill our life purpose and live it fully. Like how we channelize. I have questions on my laptop screen, so that's why I am looking here. So
Yes.
how we channelize our energies to fulfill our life purpose and live it fully. How we can channelize it? You find it, then
Uh,
you are living it.
yes. What was very
Then,
useful and practical for me was to, because where you focus your energy, where focus goes, energy flows. That is what they say. So where focus goes, energy flows. So where we focus our attention, and we have the gift to be able as human beings to decide and choose where we put our attention in every moment, that is what grows. So what I found practical and useful in my life is that by having an aim or a project that is bigger than where I am right now, and one that excites me, right, which is motivational, touching, and inspiring. So the goal and the project where I'm moving toward needs to be motivational, touching, and inspiring, and slightly outside of my comfort zone, right? So about 20%, not too much, because then it becomes too scary again. um, and focus on that, the energy is automatically created, because the universe cannot do anything else than match what we requested to do. So at the moment, I am focusing my attention on the problems and the issues that I have around me right now, right? For example, if this is not the case in my life at the moment, but if my house is constantly cluttered, I have a lot of people asking and gaining attention from me, right? Family members, cousins, uncles, friends who are constantly putting requests up on me for attention. And I go like, at the end of the day, I'm exhausted and there's so much to do, household chores, work, right? Normal jobs that we're at. And I just don't find the time to live this purpose. Like, I'm sorry, it's just not there. I'm exhausted. When I find myself in that situation, and I found myself many, many, many times there, that I just felt like I was the manager of my misery and the manager of my surroundings. The fastest way out of there and to the fastest way to create energy is to come up with an exciting project which you would like to move to, and then focus your attention there, right? Be committed for 100% to start doing that. And what then happens is that I don't have time for the drama because my focus is there, and we start making different choices, right? When then somebody asks for my attention, I would say, no, I really value you as a person, and I truly understand what you're going through at the moment, yet I am dedicated at this moment to follow this course, right? I want to educate myself in this course, or I'm dedicated to learn how to communicate more with my partner at this moment, or I'm dedicated to master the skill of healthy cooking. It doesn't matter what it is. No, it doesn't have to be. It's something that you're exciting. And then anything that's in your way moves out. And as soon as we fulfill that project, then the key is to again put something like, it's like a carrot on a stick. I don't know if you have a donkey or a horse and you sit on it and you want it to move forward. We have this stick with a cord on it and put a carrot on it, and then you're sitting on this, and then the carrot is hanging here in front of the donkey, and it starts walking towards the carrot, right? But because we have the stick, you're constantly moving towards it. It's a little bit like that, right? Create our own carrot on a stick and keep on moving forward into more projects that excite us. And with that, the energy will be created automatically. And the excitement will be created automatically because we start focusing our attention on something else, and we start making different choices, right? Maybe we need to start exercising in order to make that happen. Maybe we need to change our diet in order to make that happen. Maybe we need to review our relationships and the friends we have to see, are these people still useful at this moment? Not making them wrong, but are these connections still useful at this moment in order to create and go to that goal and the thing that I desire.
Okay, so move to the next question. I
Yes.
have so the next question is, do our life purpose is to love ourselves also?
Yes. 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 That is like a win-win, because when we love ourselves fully and totally, exactly as we are right here, right now, right, in full worthiness, then the energy opens up to do all these other things, because there is no sense of failure anymore, right? There is no sense of needing to prove ourselves anymore. So in all of this, if there is anything that is any purpose, is realize that you are worthy, you are loved in every single moment, that it's our natural birthright to be here, and that it doesn't matter what your background is, what your culture is, where you're born on the planet, what your financial situation is, how much distress you have, if you're depressed, not depressed, totally happy. Underneath all of that is the natural birthright to be loved. And realizing that again and again and again is also one of the most amazing practices, in order to create the energy and the purpose. And here again, the active appreciation comes in, right? The first, if you don't feel like loving yourself, and we all end up in moments that we're beating ourselves up for not being good enough, for not having done this. Our to-do list is not done by the end of the day. I slouched around, I hang on the couch, I didn't do anything. Oh, now I need to, right? Write another paper or do anything else. Oh, I decided that I wanted to create this and this dream in the next 6 months, and I'm 4 months and I'm not there yet, right? Again, not good enough. just to become present with that feeling first, to just breathe. Okay, let me breathe out for a second. Stop everything you're doing. Just stop it and think, okay, am I safe right now? Am I okay? And put in again the active appreciation and come up with one thing that happened which went really well today. Right? And one thing you really appreciate in this moment and today. Maybe it's the sunshine. Maybe it's the fact that we have a body. Maybe it's the fact that we woke up. And a small thing, and also take one appreciation, one of the things that you already achieved, something that already happened. And it doesn't matter if it was yesterday or 10 years ago. And with that, it's another practice to move back again into like, oh, wait, I'm safe. It's okay. I'm still loved, right? I can go now and get up and go to my mother and hug her and say, like, Mom, oh, I just need a hug right now. Can you give it to me? Or a friend, right? Or go to your father and say, Dad, can you teach me how this works? Because I don't know, right? I would love to pick your brain on some knowledge. And then we go on again. Yeah. I love yourself.
And tell me one thing, like how it started, you know, how it started that we start loving ourselves. How it like how it goes for you.
Well, I struggled with that for a very long time. It was not something that came very natural to me. It is we can practice a skill on the outside, right? To look happy and to pretend to be happy and to have really cool Facebook pages and awesome Instagram pages, and you just show up at places where we think we need to be cool. Um, so for a long time, or for at least for a while in my life, I thought that that was what happiness and self-love meant. Um, so it's a practice to get back to that. It's not, in the end, once you discover it, it's very easy. Yet we live on a world where we also have our ego minds and we get fooled by it. And our societies are still conditioned to look and point at each other and looking like and put opinions on somebody else instead of praising each other. So it's very easy to fall back into the self beating and into the not being compassionate on ourselves and on myself, because the words around us are either sarcastic or are achievement driven. And well, I guess it's also a dedication again to just decide at one moment is that I want to love myself. Nobody can make the decision for you. And right, with the purpose, right, a sense of purpose of being here right now, and ask the universe, like, okay, what is the thing I want to experience, what it is, what's being a purpose. The same thing goes up for loving yourself and loving oneself. So at the moment that I dared, I was courageous enough to not care what other people would think of me, right? Without anything that I achieved, because at that moment I was just one depressed girl with no achievements on my list, right? According to society standards, right? I thought, who am I? And that idea, who am I? Who am I to do something like this? I need to be proven record. That was actually what was holding me back, what was keeping me small, until I finally allowed myself. And on the outside, I was already successful. When I started allowing myself this question, is like, I I want to love myself. I wish, I desire to love myself. And what does that take? And to learn to love myself, to practice again loving myself with repetition and intensity every single moment. If I love myself right now, what does that mean? Everybody's going to a party. Am I going, or am I staying home? Right? Do I dare to say no and just do what it is that I feel right now? Do I dare to say I'm scared? Do I dare to say I feel vulnerable? I feel jealous. I feel judged. What you just did hurt me, right? All those things. And with that, the self-love grows. It's not, self-love is not something again that we obtain, but it is again, there's such a huge amount of universal energy, such a huge amount of joy, right? Which comes and play. For me, the word is joy, but it can be power, radiance, essence, wealth, abundance, anything that radiates with you who's listening. And that comes from that self-love or compassion, and start practicing that, because it is already inside of it. It is huge. There's no end game to that. It is incredibly big. And once I discovered that, I was like, oh, I don't need to go anywhere else to love myself, right, or to prove anything. But my job, and it is a devoted practice, right? If you're not devoted to this, that's fine too. That is like, there, nobody will judge you if somebody chooses to live in struggle or misery. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but to peel off the layers of what is not true. It is not true that I'm not worthy. It is true I'm worthy. And to just practice it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Tamara, give me 1 minute so I can plug
Yes.
my charger in my mobile phone as
Yes.
well. And so we can talk more.
Yeah. And maybe there
Actually, I
most
charge my
likely
phone.
more questions.
Yeah, there is question still on my laptop. I
Okay.
just charged my phone and
Yes.
perfectly, and then I don't know what
I am
happened
I'm keeping you
now.
busy. I'm talking too much.
I love to hear you. It's very
Thank
nice
you.
to hear you, you know.
Thank you.
It's just like listening to myself. I don't know how I explain
Yeah.
it.
But
You're
we all
like,
yeah, we have the same essence, right? So I hear myself too when you speak. That is the beauty of human beings, that we can hear ourselves.
yeah. So Rehan bhai was there, I guess, and he was saying that you both look sisters to me with different kind of hairs.
Yes. Yeah, that definitely
So
is.
I
Thank you,
have black
Laura.
and you have blonde, and we are like sister to him.
Yeah. Like, can you see, like, it's the radiance, it's the essence inside. It has nothing to do with our outside appearance. You look lovely. I definitely love the red. Do I say it good? But that, what is no
Orange.
scarf? What is the scarf name in Urdu again?
It's dupatta. I also
Dupatta.
saw
Dupatta.
that.
That was it.
Yeah, yeah, dupatta. And I also
Yeah.
saw you in dupatta in your feature pictures. You
Yes, I
was wearing
love.
that.
Yeah, I love wearing dupatta, but when I do that here in the West, in Europe, people look at me really, really strangely. They're like, "What's going on for you?" But for me, it was always a natural sense. It's just, I, I find sometimes that, and that is self-love, right? Self-nourishment. Sometimes I find it really, really nourishing to just close myself up for a bit.
Okay, give me 1 minute, Tamara. I don't want that my phone just stop because
Yes,
I want to talk to you more. Let me fix it.
yes,
Uh, yes, give me one moment. I think
yeah.
now
Take
all
your time.
right. Okay, so there is a word for us, soul sisters.
Yes, soul sisters and soul brothers
Okay.
all over the world. They're only brothers and sisters in this world. There are no strangers. They're only people I don't know their name yet.
Okay, so my next question is Tamara,
Yes.
and I also want to ask your name meaning. What is the meaning of your name?
Tamara, it has different meanings depending on different countries. It's a name used very often in Russia, and I'm half Romanian, half Dutch. So Romania is like Eastern Europe. I think my mom maybe might have it from that. I think in somewhere in some parts of India, South India, it means lotus. Tamara. In one South American country, it means tomorrow. It's like, yeah, tomorrow, tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, let's postpone. It means tomorrow. Maybe you have a different meaning, and one that I'm unaware of yet.
Okay. I about your name?
Yes, maybe there's another meaning.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, I guess that in my country, like if I search on that and then I'll find different.
Yeah,
But now I don't know the meaning of your name. But as you told me, so
yeah,
the word that I like, lotus. Wow.
yeah. Yeah, loving it too. If it, I don't mind. I don't. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. I'm adopting it. I love that one, Lotus. Definitely.
Okay.
So let's
So my
answer
next
some
question
questions
is
from the
that
audience. Yes, another question.
audience. So I
Yes,
just want,
take an audience
yeah, I
question.
have the questions. Okay, the audience is asking. There is some comments that they are adding. A lot of people joined us, and then I put, okay, Avimanyu. He was saying that very true. Unless we love ourselves, we will be restricted to enjoying and loving what we do. So
Yes,
he added like, and there is Goha Sharif. He said that, hello Tamara, good to see you.
yes. Good to see you too. Good to see
Do you
all of you.
remember? Do you remember Goha Sharif?
Yes, definitely. How
Okay.
can I forget that, gentleman?
Okay. Muhammad Safdar is saying that everybody should realize that he is unique or she is unique and the hero of this universe. Nice
Yes,
addition.
that is really beautiful about uniqueness. It's like we are all unique. So when somebody else is doing a similar thing as what you are doing, don't be afraid to think like, oh, somebody else already doing that. This cannot be my purpose or not what I, because there is no competition, right? We even if we
Mm.
do the same thing, we cannot show up the same because we're not the same person. We're not the same thing. So by all means, do not compare yourself with somebody else, and you are unique, and that uniqueness makes you you, and that is what we all want to see, right? And if you think like I am not unique, then be unique in that. That is also great.
Okay, so my next question is that how we can, okay, how we can inspired actions to fulfill, okay, how we take inspired actions, like you said that you want to inspire, so
Well,
how we inspire people, what do you think about that?
well, when following the things you love and following your passions and doing what you love, there's always this idea that you need to work really hard. Now, often I come home by the end of the day and I haven't worked hard at all. I had a lot of fun. I didn't. I when somebody else, what did you do is nothing, but I ticked off a to-do list with 20 points on it, right? And because and that is where this word effortlessness comes in, when people always say like, yeah, things come effortlessness and with ease and grace, is when you like
Mhm.
doing something, it doesn't feel like work. You just do it, right? And there
Mhm.
might
Okay.
be things like, right, administration or sending emails that are not to your highest excitement or highest likings, but you will
Mhm.
also do that automatically because they will move you forward to what it is that you want. And there are two ways to go about that, and one is a bit more. Most men work very linear, right? So you have a to-do list, you start at the top, you
Mhm.
go down at the bottom, and then you're done, and you go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, 10. For some people that really works. It's a very logical, linear way of thinking. For a lot of women, and I am one of those, that doesn't work, right? We work a bit more chaotic and a bit more artistically, and it looks a bit like this, right? You start here and we
Mhm.
go all over the place, and then we end up here. So
Yes.
yes, and the drives the people who like a linear way of working. We are going insane when doing this. So what I do, for example, is I do create a to-do list in the morning. So I wake up, I I
Mhm.
meditate, I look what is it that I want to create today. Then there is this list of things that come to my mind which needs to be done. And instead of forcing myself to do them all in once or at a specific timing of the day, I just know I'm going to do them today. And which I do first, it doesn't matter. Maybe I start at the end of the to-do list. Maybe I start at the beginning of the to-do list. And the same thing goes for a project, which is a long term. I just pick whatever grabs my attention in that moment. And I trust that if I do that, in the end, all the things on the to-do list will be done. So because if I work in a linear way, and it goes for a lot of people, then we get by point three, and point three is not what we want to do in this moment, and we get stuck. Go move forward, and then right, this uncertainty, unsafety, self judgment, all of that starts coming in because we're not moving. But when I allow myself to just pick on the list what resonates with me right now, then by the end of the day, I have done it all. So sometimes I answer emails in the middle of the night and I write papers in the morning, or I sleep halfway the day. Like, I have the luxury of freedom of time and freedom of location, so I can do that. But there are also times that I didn't have that, when I just had an office job and I woke up in the morning, went to the office, cooked, cleaned the house, and came back, and still I managed to work in that way. So it was really helpful and useful for me.
Okay, so here is Aisha Khan who is saying that getting a lot of energy from this talk. Thank you. And this is because of
You're
Tamara.
welcome. It's because of all of us. Before I came here live with you, I put out a prayer, and it is a prayer of active appreciation for every single person that is joining us live here, and active appreciation for everybody who wants to join in and to co-create. Because you and I are here speaking, but we cannot create this field of energy and transformation and joy and power and passion without the audience on the other side. So it's actually the audience and everybody who is listening in at the moment that enables me and you, Rabia, to generate this energy in order to be here. So I'm, yeah, actively appreciative for that. And then we can just have fun. So thank you.
Oh, that's so sweet. Okay, so I have little question.
Yes.
Can I ask more?
Yes, come on, bring it on.
Okay, yes. So I have that. How to be the person who is happy with her or like his life. How to be
Well,
that kind of person? We should be happy all the time, but we don't feel happiness all the time. Suddenly judgments and everything.
the first thing is to let go of the belief that living a purpose and feeling self-love and fulfillment always means we feel happy. Happiness can be a state just as much as sadness, just as much as anxiety, just as much as depression. It's something that comes and goes, right? It's the ancient metaphor of looking at the sky, right? And then having the clouds coming and going, coming and going. And if we see a cloud as like the cloud in the sun, there's always sun behind a cloud. If in the Netherlands, it's often very gray and rainy. And so when I jump into a plane here and we go up, as soon as we're above the clouds, sun is always there. But I can't see it when I'm underneath it. So when I start making this unhappiness a thing and hold on to it and go start focus my attention on the unhappiness and thinking and believing that the unhappiness that is something I need to do something with, then when I focus my attention on that, where focus goes, energy flows. So that is what I'm creating more of. So I am not happy all the time. Definitely not. I don't smile all day, but I do have a real sense of peace because I have and I trained the ability to see beyond the clouds and to stay with that knowing because of all these endless years of depressions, of all these endless moments where I couldn't even cry anymore. I was beyond crying, right? I was living my life with a filter of darkness and constant, instant darkness. And because of the willingness to move on to that, I really learned and trained to be present, with what is. And there is this really nice, I once went to a course and they had a really nice practice. I did, it was a coaching training course. And I think 3 times a day they had a what they call a state check. And they had this signs with the smileys, and one was a smiley or smile, the other one was neutral, it looked like this, and the other one was the sad one. I can't do sad now. I don't know how to say it, but we can imagine the sad smiley, right? And without
Mhm,
having a judgment on where you're at on those scale, we were asked to
mhm.
stand there, right? And then we noticed that during these 4 or 5 days of training, and 3 times a day, that the stage changes, right? The flows changes. Sometimes we're in happiness, and sometimes we're in unhappiness, and sometimes we were like numb and mediocre. And when you're in the mediocre thing, we're often quite disconnected from ourselves. But either when we're in the sadness phase or the happy phase, it's a flow. right? And they come in flow. So it's not necessary to be happy all the time. Sometimes it's again the gift of contrast that the feelings of depression go like, oh, and then at one moment we decide I don't want this anymore, right? And then we get our power back and it's, oh, this is a decision. Oh, what can I do then right now? What shifts my mood? If I want that, you don't even have to shift the mood, but it's just if you desire that. And I call it my list of shifters. Sometimes I watch documentaries or I go out for a walk or I dance. And when I do that, I know that I shift out of the unhappiness, uh, perceived unhappiness, right? It's not really unhappiness, perceived anything that I am measuring myself against at this moment to go out of it. So I don't try to be happy all the time. That is like it's such a dreadful task, right? To be happy. So again, the pressure comes up. I need to be happy all the time. No,
Hmm. Got it. Fine. So my next question
irritable.
is that I have, hmm. So I have nine. Like I asked seven,
Yes.
but I have nine. So I have like two more questions. So the
Bring it on.
people who are watching us, yeah. So the people who are watching us, oh my God, I took your 1 hour and 10 minutes.